Good day, everyone. Welcome to my channel, See Nor Art. My name is Kat. I'm an artist as well as a nerd, and I'm very happy to have you all with me today. We are going to be doing art this morning, and I'm going to just be relaxing doing watercolor. I have several different suggestions from my lovely community, so if you're in chat and you really want to give an art suggestion of something you'd like to see here on my channel, I have catnip toys in the corner, which are channel points in other places. You can save them up, give me a suggestion, and then you kind of get to see what I do with it. I just kind of run with it and it becomes its own thing. So what will be, I'll show you really quick. Let me transition over really fast. Here we go. So I've got a couple different brands of watercolor paper, as you can see, but I am using watercolor paper because we are doing watercolors this morning. The first one that we're gonna be looking at is Maple Spring. So I have a Maple Fall. So this is a partner with this one. So we are going to be working on the flowers today. We did these beautiful leaves last week. I don't know, weeks are starting to run all together. I don't remember anymore. But we're gonna go ahead and see if we can finish these little leaves right here. And then, hello, Sylvia. How are you? Good morning. Oh, did you think you were going to miss something? Huh? Seven came in. He's my kitty cat. Oh, careful. I'm going to turn the chair for you, buddy. There you go. You gonna sit down? You gonna sit down? Such a good boy. Alright, so we've got that one, which I guess I will put right here. And we also got, I'm working on another earthbound painting. So I have been working on, there's Tessie, there's the beautiful UFO, and there's a magic butterfly. So if you haven't had the pleasure of joining us on almost every single Tuesday night, we've been playing Earthbound. I'm getting really close, according to my partner in crime, Mathresist, to finishing the game, which is hard to believe. But we are going to be working on this as well. So, yeah. Hello, Lady Boa. Meow to you too. So, and hello, Ginger. It's good morning. I hope you guys are having a lovely morning this morning. Yeah. What do you think? Should we do some art? Wish you guys could see him. He's like totally sitting down, but he's got this look all over his face. Like, oh, it's time for art. We pet kitties. Now time for art. Okay, so I've got a couple of things. What we'll do is we'll start with here. It may look a little weird. I just cleaned off my palette, so I realized I still got like wet watercolor everywhere. Hold on just a second, let me clean off so I don't smear random blue everywhere. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we are going to, it looks like a bunch of blue with this particular piece. So I'm hoping that by the time we start adding like trees and other things like that, it will give this composition a little more oomph, which is kind of what I'm going for. We'll see. It may just be a good practice for another painting. We may end up doing this one twice. We'll just see. I did match the colors of blue between the sky and the water, so they feel related. The horizon line is here, which I used tape. You can kind of still see the tape line a little bit, but by the time we add trees, you won't see it. Having this straight line for water is really important. Otherwise, your water feels like it's falling off the page. Even on a very stormy day, when you're on a beach with ocean and the wind's blowing, there's a big storm front moving in, especially off the ocean, the horizon line still looks perfectly flat. It's like the curvature of the earth and the way that our eyes perceive things. So this is a good way to indicate like this is the shoreline here. So what I wanted to do was, I have all this beautiful light, but it's like very pale compared to the sky above. So I kind of wanted to pull it down so that way when I add snow to trees, because this is winters here in Earthbound, winters is exactly what you think about. The whole thing is just trees and snow. So I kind of wanted the white of those trees to look very vibrant, because we're gonna do some mixed media with that as well. So I will go ahead and an easy trick that I like to do is just add some very faint purple in the background, kind of like there's hills or mountains in the far, far distance, and then we'll layer our trees on top of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and go into my water. My palette is very wet because I have been cleaning my palette off finally. I have some pre-made Imperial Purple by Daniel Smith. You can use whatever watercolors you have on hand if you're doing watercolors. It's been my experience that you get what you pay for when it comes to watercolors. That includes like brushes and paint. However, that being said, you can definitely paint with Crayola watercolor pans. That's the only thing you got in your house. Drag them out, play with them. I've seen some beautiful artwork made with very basic art supplies. Heck, even a ballpoint pen or a number 2 pencil is fine. So don't ever let your supplies or your funds for supplies ever limit your ability to make art. The best artists in the world can make a Crayola crayon look amazing. You know, like if you know how to work with a medium that hard, and Crayolas are very hard to work with, you can do anything. So just means that eventually when you do get to your really nice supplies, because you work so hard to learn with like student grade or even like grade school supplies, it just makes your job easier as you go along. So I'm going to think about like where I kind of want the composition to go. I've got this nice swooping line here. I accidentally put Tessie right in smack dab in the center. That's okay though. So I kind of want things to just like pull down and swoop through, so it kind of gives that motion of that butterfly flying through. Because there's like a little itty bitty tiny like chase scene between the beautiful UFO and the relaxing ever beautiful butterfly over here. So I'm just going to take some of this purple and I am just going to use, and I'm just going to very lightly just use this to kind of make some mountains here in the background. I'm going to grab some water and help pull this down a little bit. Keeping in mind that as mountains go further down to the bottom, they become lighter. So they're darker at the top and lighter at the bottom because of perspective. Next time that you go to the mountains, just look at the top of the mountain versus the bottom of the mountain. Ooh, especially if you're flying into a mountainous area, that's always coolest. I always love comparing the way that a mountain looks from the air versus the mountains looking from the ground. It's very fascinating. So we're just gonna use this angled brush to help pull down and create our shape here. So I want to leave that line pretty crisp, pretty clean. Go back into that water. So not really cleaning off my brush, I'm just adding water to kind of help make a gradient. And the thing about this though is that by the time we add trees, you may never ever see these mountains again. This might just be something that hides in the background, but the color will still be there. The trees will end up having that color behind them, and in between the branches and everything like that, you'll be able to see. And Tessie is a beautiful purple color as well, so that'll help give some color association between what's going on all the way through. So this is that's like we're helping push that skyline back, help pushing our figures forward. So that's what we're gonna do here. So we're just gonna use that to help create that illusion. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of water and I'm just gonna go along and make sure that like that purple color, whoops, kind of got excited and went right into our UFO. That's okay. When that happens, it's not a big deal. We can just we'll rinse out our brush, rinse it out in clean water as well. And we can just apply water, help blend it out so that way it's not like a big, there's no hard lines. Then we can take a clean spot of our rag and we can just dab that up. So that way no new color goes in and we've lifted essentially all that color up and off the page. There will be a little bit of color left over. That's alright. By the time we start adding colors and making it its original color and add shading, you won't notice it again. There are no mistakes. We just work around them. That's the exciting part of working with a medium like this. So, as exciting as that was, I want to make sure that my mountains dry completely because I do want to establish all my trees first and then move forward and work on these 3 characters very last. Because depending on how saturated my trees become, whether they're really saturated or not saturated at all, that will determine the saturation and the oomph of color and detail that my figures have. So the easiest thing to do is to kind of like work from background forward, just so that way you know. Some people working around, but for this one, because the piece is so large and I've got so many different characters going around, I want to establish that tree line of like trees, so that way we can kind of like be able to help punch up the colors here. So, no fear. When we let things dry, that's why I work on multiple things at once. I will just take this and slide this off, and then we will just move to this one. So I'm just going to set that there. And then we'll move on to Maple Spring. So we worked on our leaves last time. Now we're going to work on our flowers, which I don't know if you can really see. Let me make sure that it's in focus. That's why I'm trying to make sure that you guys can actually see what I'm up to. So with this particular technique, we did clean water versus color. So we have a brush that all it does is hangs out in clean water. We don't use it to actually paint. And then we have a brush that we can use. Oh, get dirty, have fun. Let's see, pull up some fuchsia. Fuchsia pink. We're gonna go into alizarin crimson to go into that fuchsia to kind of give it a more, almost like adding brown to your pink. We're just gonna make that color really lively. It's gonna be very punchy. We're going to go a little more, instead of a more natural take, we're going to go with a little more vibrancy. So that way we can add some color. So I'm going to make this really very, very vibrant. I'm going to rinse that out. So I'm going to make 2 petals of pink. We're going to make super punchy pink, and then we're going to make a lighter pink so we can combine some colors. So I'm going to go into some magenta, which is in the purple family, to help pull down our fuchsia and alizarin crimson pink down. So it is definitely purple, but it should make a lovely contrast as well. Flowers have a lot of variation in color. And since this is something that I am doing to kind of like create like a pattern in a way, I just really want the colors to kind of bounce and play. Okay, so I'm going to rinse out my brush. I'm going to set my brush down that I was using in the pinks and all that fun stuff down. Okay, so I got to think about how I'm going to work in the round. I'm right-handed, so with this particular piece, I'm trying to figure out where I could work that I could continuously work around but not smear something I've already started. because I am right-handed. That is a big problem. I've done it a lot where I'll be working on a piece and I will have my hand right over something wet and I'll like smear the wetness into like something else, and I'm just like, it can be fixed, but it's just something that most artists would just be like, nope, and they would just set aside and start over again. But I like working through anything. First thing not to work through is make sure that I keep my dirty brush in my dirty water, but my clean brush in my clean water. Okay, so I think if what I do is if I work from here and then work my way around this way, I should be able to turn the page successfully, and hopefully by the time we make it over here, this will be dry and I won't have to worry about it. Plus, working on a small leaf first will help us out, and then we can establish going into these bigger leaves. So this exercise is fun. I'm just doing wet on wet technique, which means I put down clean water first. I very carefully draw out the shape in clean water, and then I add color to it. So I just drop color and I let watercolor do what it likes to do best. Since I am working close to this green, the green is dry completely. The thing is that if you put a lot of water next to a dry paint, it might lift it up and move it around. It's just something to be aware of. Set my clean brush aside so I don't get into it. Alright, and then I'm just going to take my other brush. We're just going to drop some color in here. I'm going to work from the edges towards the center. Kind of gives it that little papery feel. And drop a little more color in there. Thing to remember about watercolor is that usually it dries about 2 to 3 shades lighter than when you're placing it down. So if you put, especially when we go into like this magenta color and we start putting it down and it feels too warm, it's okay, it will calm down. So I'm going to use this magenta color to kind of help pull the purple back. So it's like it's pulling away from the light, and it's like actually, it has like a sense of movement. Let's go back into my fuchsia. Let's punch up that fuchsia a little bit. And then go back towards that edge. As you add more pigments, it's going to push the water around, and it's going to create like these nice little swirly colors as well. So I'm going to leave that the way it is. I'm going to set my brush down. I'm going to go into my clean water. You kind of want to gather a little bit onto the brush so that way you can just drop a drop. That was a really big droplet, but see how it like moved and pushed the water around? The colors will start to intermingle. I'm going to let it dry. I'm not going to touch it anymore. And then I'm going to grab, of course, this and tap that down a little bit. My dirty brush over here so I don't hit it. So then I'll just move on to the next. I'm going to just draw the shape with my clean water first. I do have watercolor pencil down, so there will be a little bit of color being lifted off from the watercolor pencil, and I'm just going to draw my flower shape. And we're going to experiment with this first flower. As we go along, our flowers will get better, but that's okay. It's about a learning experience. draw with the water first. Now that make sure that there's not, I'm going to tilt my head to just kind of see if there's any dry spots. It doesn't look like it. Okay. Set my clean brush aside, grab my dirty brush. We're just going to follow those edges at first. We follow the edges, it gives that luminosity and it allows the pigments to work from outer edge to the center. A lot of flowers are darker towards the edges than they are towards the center. Some flowers are not. Some flowers are uniform in color. Other flowers do the reverse. So the pigments are going where the water is, and sense of gravity is also going to play in this as well. So I'm just going to take this color and we're just going to work our way around until we have the whole shape done on the outside. And once we establish the edges, we can start playing in the center. But this really won't look like a flower unless we've got these edges established of the leaves. So some of that. Take a little bit of that fuchsia and just drop that in the center. Just like that. And then we're gonna start to let it dry, see how it looks. But I think like right there, it looks really pretty. So we just use some color that was already on our brush and kind of like pulled towards the center to kind of give it a little bit of lines. So we can just do that and just pull out. And we're always pulling towards the center, so that way there's like little dots. And just leave that, and I'm gonna leave it alone. It looks really pretty. I really don't want to lose the light. Then I can always go back in with a watercolor pencil and kind of like shape up those leaves and make them a little more defined. And we can just play with it a little bit more with that as well. So I'm gonna take my dirty brush, set it off to the side, and then we're just gonna keep working, thinking about like where our hand's gonna go. So I really don't want to work on this really big flower first, because otherwise my hand will go right into it and we'll smear it all over the place. So we're going to work on these edge leaves here, then we're going to move to this big flower, and then we'll do these edges here. So we've got my clean water. We've had a kitty. Had a really excellent watercolor teacher who said that if you aren't relaxed when you're doing watercolor, you're not painting, you're just making fancy mud. So it is really important to find that stretch before you get started. Draw something silly, pet a kitty cat, snuggle your puppy. Always have something that makes you feel relaxed. With music. Water, we can go in here. So this particular leaf is, this petal, should I differentiate, is right next to a leaf. So we're just going to make sure that we define the edges, but also know that we could lift up some of that color of the maple leaf that's right next to it, which is not necessarily a bad thing. We can work with it. There would be a little bit of color transfer between the two anyways because of reflection of color. Fuchsia is kind of changing just a little bit because I keep going into the magenta. That's okay. I'm just going to go right back into fuchsia and alizarin crimson and pull that right back down to pink instead of purple. And we're just going to work from the edges. Find the edges of these flowers. Don't see enough color, just go back to your palette and lift up some more color, and then just do little dabbing motions to just drop the color in. And it'll help bring that color back to the water. And I'll start it'll start moving it. Especially if you go from the top, then it'll naturally move down to the bottom. So we're just going to add a little bit more color there. Like that little natural shake to your hand, because you can see my hand is shaking quite a bit. Just know that very rarely are edges of flower petals smooth. So next time you bring flowers that you are growing outside, bring them into your house, look at the edges of the flower petals. They're very rarely smooth. They usually have some sort of like texture. So if you're not getting like perfectly smooth edges, I'll just roll with it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. So just add a little bit of that darker color down to the edge right here. And then I'm gonna leave that one alone and see how it dries. This one's drying really pretty. It's got like this nice little white. And then this one's almost dry, as crazy as that is. It's really gorgeous though. They kind of have their own life. Every petal is unique. So I love that it doesn't have uniformity. I love the texture. I think it makes like these kind of like making something abstract, like almost feel like an abstract painting, but pattern-like. I think it's more fun when they don't really have a whole lot of just gonna deepen some of these. Deepen this color up a little bit. Make that a little bit darker so then we can make a little lighter ones as well. Okay. Alright, we make some more pink. Grab that fuchsia, grab that alizarin crimson. Nice red color, reddish pink color. And then if we make something a little too dark, we can always just take our little dab and then we can lift up again. Okay. Alright, set my dirty brush down so I can go into my clean brush. Gotta think about which brush is which. At a certain point, I start to forget and then I just kind of go with it, so. Hello, Lumos. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Hope that you're having a great morning. I am just working on some flowers this morning. Started painting with mountains in my other piece, and then now we're doing this. So we're just increasing the color of our flowers because I want them to feel punchy. I want them to feel abstract. So I'm gonna turn the page just a little bit. I'm gonna set my dirty brush down, grab my clean brush. So we're just doing that, putting the clean water down first, and then we're moving from there. So I'm gonna work from this edge over because I'm not working over here, so I'm gonna try to keep all of that nice and golden. So we're just gonna draw the shape first with the clean water. And then we're going to go in with our fuchsia and alizarin crimson mixture, and we're just going to draw the edges first. Turn it so you guys can see it a little bit better. Make sure that I don't stick my hand in something. I'm just going to draw along the edges there. Hello, Newton. How are you, buddy? I thought I heard someone. I was like, man, it sounds like someone's meowing. I definitely was hearing someone. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that the way that it is. Set my dirty brush down. Goodbye, Newton. I know, the kitties are pretty quiet this morning. It's gray again here. It was real dark yesterday, and it seems like it's just going to be a theme for the end of this week, is just be super duper dark. So just like I did with the leaves, I'm thinking about where the placement of all of these are. As it moves further away, be a little more saturated. As it's closer, it's going to have a lot more, has a lot more variance and everything like that. So we're going to work on the abstractness. I really love punching up the color. I feel like it's a nice play against the greens and the yellows. Naturally, red is the complement color to green, so I'm blending into the pink to kind of get away from the Christmas theme, because we can definitely go Christmassy with it, and blending it into more of like a tropical feel, a little more exciting. So I like the saturation of this color, especially against the variation of greens. It makes nothing is clashing with something else, because there are elements of the complementary color within these colors here. So that when you're doing fun paintings like this, where it's more freeform, it's more abstract, it's not necessarily you're trying to replicate something that you have seen. It's more like a pattern. This is a great way to just play with colors. It's a great way to just relax into painting. This is something that I would encourage beginners to do, because there's no pressure here. You're just basically perfecting your technique of wet on wet. And if that's what you're really wanting to learn, is learn what it takes, how much water does it take to make this method work, and then how you can go back in later and add more water, take away more water. This is a good way to do it. So, because the more you play, the more you learn. And when it comes to art, you're creating something out of nothing, so you might as well just be having fun. If you've seen any of Bob Ross's like painting videos, he often talks about like how he loves Alaska, right? And he always makes the comment that, you know, God must have been having a good day when he made Alaska. And I think every day that you make art is a good day, and you might as well be having fun doing it. If you're not having fun, I don't know, it shows, at least I think it shows in your work, especially over time. If you follow an artist long enough, you'll be able to kind of pick up on the emotions that are being felt. Because most of the time, most artists are very emotionally based, whether they outwardly show it or not. So, just find this little edge here. Go here, here. I can always tell in my own work where I was. Like, was I facing a deadline? Was I enjoying myself? I have to be always consciously aware of like where I am in the moment. That's why there's always constantly schedule changes, although it does help my Twitch is unique. Twitch wants you to stream all the time in different time slots to get to partner. I'm currently now just affiliate. So it's beneficial, but if you ever notice I was supposed to do art one day and I don't do art that day, I decided to do something different, it's because I'm starting to get better about understanding where I'm at and not to push art. Because if I'm not feeling it, I'm not going to get it done. It's very frustrating how that works, but it is, I know myself well enough to know that that's just how it is. So it's just like everything else, gotta have balance. Hello, Sir Pendrin. Oh my gosh. Hold on. I've been ignoring chat for too long because there's some missing some Newton and some num-nums going on. I am so sorry, Sir Pendrin. So. A dad joke for today. What do you call a cow with a twitch? I don't know. I don't know. You'll have to let us know. Ada's excited. Now these. Okay, hold on, guys. Let me switch. Let's see if we can get a 7 to sit up. It's gonna be interesting. Okay. Sabian. Oh, there's a Newton here too. They were all waiting for that num-num treat. 7, will you sit up? He's like, I don't like this part. Yes, sit up. Okay. Ada. Can you go along? Here, toss. Hey Newton, I haven't forgotten about you. Here you go, buddy. You gonna sit up? Come on. Oops, I dropped it on the floor. Hold on. I got you. You gonna sit up? I caught a treat right here. Come on. He's so mad. He's like, I'm not a puppy, Mom. Come on. Burn 5 calories and I'll give you 2 treats. Come on. Come on. Oh my goodness. Come on. There's movement. Oh, that's a good boy. A good boy sits up. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yes. He sat up. I don't know if you guys... Oh, you can see his little ears. Yeah. That's a good boy. Oh, yeah. That's a good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good girl. Thank you, Pendrin, for redeeming that nummy num. My kitties say thank you. 7 says, I had to burn 5 calories for that little num-num treat. That's a good boy. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to drop that on your head there, Newt. All right. So, what do you call a cow with a twitch? Beef jerky. Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. Hello, Reese. Hello. I am training my cat to sit up to get a treat. One of these days, he will just automatically like sit up and be like, okay, I'm sitting up. I'm ready. Today is not that day though. Okay, so what I will do really quick. Hello, Reese. Hope you're having a great day. I am going to take a moment to get some water for myself because I realize that I need the treat of water. So what we're going to do is we're going to go find water, guys. Let's go hydrate and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I just needed to get some water. I'm probably gonna still drink some water here in a second. Hold on, guys. Let me find the right transition. There we go. Oh, wow, Reese. I'm assuming you have the day off today since you stayed up into the wee early morning hours? If not, you are a trooper. Staying up that late and you're already up again. You work from 4 p.m. to midnight. Oh wow, your job is late shift. My goodness. Are you more... I could not do that. I am not a night owl. I reach about 11 o'clock every day. PM, not AM. Well, AM too. I reach about the 11s and I'm like, I'm done. I'm tired. Yeah, I agree with Sir Pendrin. How's that been going? Do you like it? Do you enjoy the change? It does explain why I don't see you very often. I'm also still very surprised you're awake right now. You are more than welcome to use this stream to fall asleep to. I will not be offended. I do have a lot of smooth jazz, so it does help one to sleep. Beyond boring and a little very unproductive. At least you're not around people at between 4 p.m. and midnight. Most people are... Yeah. It's only temporary, right? I know that everyone's normal is not normal anymore, so, and we've all been having to change, so I'm so sorry that you're working such a late shift. But I hope that there will still be parts of your day that make you happy, and many reasons to smile. 1 to 3 of my coworkers are there until about 6:30, and then it's just me until like 11:30 or midnight. Oh my goodness. I think that would be the worst, is like you're just by yourself in a job and it's just you. I used to do that when I worked for a vet clinic and did weekend shifts, and of course no one's in the office and it's just you. And well, I had animals for company, but still it was really quiet, and all I wanted to do was like finish my job and get out of there, because it was kind of creepy being in an office that you normally had people in, so it always felt weird. Seven, did you return? Did you have a good little munchie? Seven went to his food bowl and was like, I decided I'm hungry. We have found out that doing that is how you kill a lady boa from the inside out. Aww. Being by yourself, or just not having, like, not having coworkers? I mean, technically my coworkers are cats, so I guess I can't relate. Hi, Newton. Hey, buddy. Careful where you're going. One day you're gonna just turn off my cameras. I'm just suddenly gonna have no cameras. Just yes? The having nothing to do and no coworkers? Okay. I guess I'm an introvert, so obviously. But I do understand. I do have to say, working in my studio and having the stream has been lovely. I do honestly love streaming because I do get to share my art process. I'm here anyways. It's really nice to have people with me while I make art. So. Puddle, but we can work with this. It's not a bad thing. What I'll do is just kind of lift up some of this. It's not a bad thing, so we're gonna lift up, and then we're gonna add some water. I was like, I thought this was Mega Man. I'm just gonna add some water to this. go with my dirty brush. Just gonna rinse out my dirty brush really quick. I agree. It has been really hard not being able to see friends, or only seeing friends through glass doors. So I understand that. So Reese said the shift isn't really the problem. You're just not productive in the evening. I gotcha. I am the same way, Reese, completely. I'm the same way. If I'm being completely honest with myself, I'm most productive between the hours of 9 until about noon. And then after that, depends on the day, to be honest. Sometimes I do have little night owl tendencies and I just get really hyper and I start really late and I stay up really late, but it's not very often. This has been Kat featuring Waking Up with Reese. Aww. Ginger, I get the impression, and I could be wrong, I feel like doing house chores for you is how you, it's how you naturally take, stress and anxiety, and that's how you release it. It's your way of, I was talking about it the other day, that it's, gosh. So we're all feeling it, right? We're not gonna beat around the bush. We all feel to a certain degree that the environment that we're in currently right now is really hard because we're not able to cope with our anxiety by seeing friends or just, going out and having a drink or something like that. That's just not an option. So we all have to take that and then acknowledge that it's there, but take it as white noise and then put it as far back in your brain as possible so that way you can focus on what's immediately in front of you, so you can just turn off the white noise. And for some people, I'm assuming for maybe Ginger, that's doing household chores is your way of making that white noise and putting it in the back of your brain so you don't have to listen to it. It's there, you acknowledge it, but it's not in the forefront. It's not right in your face. I do art. That's how I've always dealt with things. When I was younger, I wrote poetry. Now that I'm older, I paint predominantly. So it's just a mixture of the two. So, Mathicist, he's really good at video games. So I can always tell when he's needing to just kind of unwind and shut down, is he'll really get into the rhythm games. So anything that he has to button mash to keep up with the rhythm, he loves those games. Because it's easy for him to just fully focus, because you have to focus, right? When you do rhythm games, you can't have a momentary lapse of oops, because then the song's over and you're oh, okay. Animal Crossing has taken over my life for a little bit. That's okay. Animal Crossing is it satisfies that desire. Okay. We get so used to being, when we're not kids anymore and we have to be adults, boo. We get really used to being able to be in control. And sometimes it's really hard when you're not in control anymore, because you're reminded, oh geez, well, there are things in life that are not in your control. Animal Crossing satisfies that itch. You have a whole island and it's yours. You get to change it, you get to plant the trees, you get to have villagers to talk to. It changes every day. So it's easy for me to see why people would gravitate towards games like Sims or Minecraft, is because it's just in a book. You're just taking an adventure, you're escaping from what this is. You're taking a Kit Kat break, you're taking a time out, and you're just there. You're just in the moment. It's the same thing with reading books. You're taking an adventure off to somewhere that isn't here. You get to turn off everything else because you're just involved in that moment, in the time. So yeah, I encourage it. Just because it's important to know that you need that time to just be. Take a stroll through your island, or build something very cube-like in shape in Minecraft, or take an adventure in a book or something. Anyone read Discworld series? No, but I will write it down. I need to convince myself to read the Harry Dresden series. I think I got most of the books now. I set that off to the side. Let me go. What's it called? Discworld? Is that what it is? Me and my Discworld. If you have the author, you can put it into Discord. I've got that that little feed in my Discord that's just for content library, I think is what I labeled it as. So if you're watching a new series or TV series, or you're reading a book you really like, put it in there, put the author down, so that way other people who may be interested can find it and be able to read it as well. So, oh, thank you, Lumos. Yeah, this little big flower is just turning into an abstract suggestion of a flower. It's perfect. What we need. So hi, Seven. What do you do, Seven? Seven says take naps. He says naps are good and to snuggle with the people that you love the most. So he says take naps, sleep good. If you're not drooling on your pillow, you're not doing it right. Huh, yes, yeah. Reese's 2020 goals update. Survived the pandemic. So far, check. Got a full-time job. Not yet. Working on it. Read 20 books in 2020. Oh, that's 8 out of 20. Aw. Start a Twitch channel. Not yet. There's still time. Still loads of time. If you need any help starting a Twitch channel, I can give you some advice. I can also point you towards other people who are amazing at doing Twitch to help you out as well. So I'm getting all kinds of distracted by reading chat and hanging out with you guys. Also just watching paint dry. Oh, it itches. Here, let me turn you so I can scratch. Bien, chico boy. Oh, yeah. Oh, you got an itch. Hold on. It's okay. I'm just gonna scratch. Scratch, 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 scratch. Is that better? Yeah. Sorry, you're on the wheel of spins. Okay. Now that we've got ample kitty hair in the air, let's go ahead and go for another flower. Yeah, I have the books for Harry Dresden series. I just haven't sat down and started reading. I can't seem to focus on reading at the current moment. I'm trying to fix my sleep schedule. Once that's fixed, I'm pretty sure I will, because I was reading there for a while. Oof. Sorry, kitty hair. With water first. Oh, thank you for putting it in the Discord, Benjamin. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, because I would be interested in checking it out myself. You have to let us know if you like it. The only thing that, like, I have to say is made me kind of sad is that you can't go to your local library at the current moment. It's just because it's not really safe to do so, and I'm kind of sad about that because usually that's like my go-to. Just go to the library and just check out a whole bunch of different books because it's, you know, it's there, it's available, it's... I'm looking forward to when we're not in times like these and I can go back to the libraries because I do like going to the library. Going to lurk. Lurk away. I do not mind. Yes, I need to finish that series, Reese. I do like it so far. I just sit down with a book and I'm usually asleep within 10 minutes. And if you read books regularly, 10 minutes is not really enough time to really get into anything. Not quite getting very far enough. Just lift and take away. And just add. Pinter's like, oh, if I start reading a book, I'm liable to be up until 2. Sounds like a good weekend activity. Made a little bit of a mud, but that's okay. It's okay. I'll just dial the center really quick. Yeah. And we'll just move on. We'll let that dry and we'll come back to it here in a little bit. Yeah, we might go back and add some color. So we'll do like another glazing technique on top because you can see the difference between like, here's the color wet, so all that pigmentation added with water, and here's with it without water. So the color changes quite a bit, but that's okay. We can go back and add some layers to it, add some defining moments to it, and still be able to keep this nice, beautiful papery texture. I love the texture. So we'll just keep working in the round so that way we can keep our hands out of anywhere that's overly wet. So thanks, Limos, I appreciate it. I like it too. I like, even though it's drying to a lighter color, which I knew it was going to, I think we can go back and add a little bit of color, a little bit of texture. We might even go back with the pencil, kind of like give it a little bit of line work as well. So, which one of these is, yikes. This is what happens when you put your dirty brush next to your clean brush. I think this one's my clean brush. You know how we can make sure it's clean, huh, Seven? So we can just rinse it out in our dirty water, wipe it out on our towel, and then rinse it out in our clean water. And wipe that down on your towel or paper towel, whatever you have. I just really love these micro cloths because you can wash them and reuse them, so it's a little more earth friendly. So we're just going to use that clear water. We're just going to paint around this leaf here. Lots of edges, so I'm going to work on perfecting those edges. One thing about watercolors, you can't take away like darks, but you can always add color. So you can always go lighter than you intend, and then you can add layers on top, which is just fine. So it's the opposite of the way you think with like acrylics or oil, because you usually go from dark to light, but watercolor you go from light to dark. Go back into that fuchsia and add the Lindsay Crimson. Someone broke into my house last night and stole my limbo trophy. How low can you go? It's a good dad joke. That one is really good. Sorry, I got quiet because I was like, I'm almost there. And then I can go back and add some pretty color. We just have one more, looks like, and then we are good to go on the flowers. So I think I am at a good spot for my flowers. Very pink, dirty water now. So I'm gonna rinse out my brushes really good. Thank you, Lumos. You're very sweet. I'm just playing, just having fun. Water over here. Okay. All right, so we've got about 30 minutes left. We can make some trees in 30 minutes, I think. Let me just grab my towel from the floor. Lower that over there. So I'm just gonna slide this away. And we're just gonna make some trees. We're gonna do some happy little trees before we leave today. Try not to transfer paint too much. Set that down. Grab our other piece, drag it over here. We're gonna do some happy little trees right where we did our mountains. So our mountain's completely dry. Grab some water really quick. I've got like an itch right there. I'm trying not to scratch it. Because I'm like, I'm wearing makeup. This is the only time I wear makeup, guys. It's for the stream. You're very welcome. Because otherwise, I'm in my yoga pants and just all natural, which is just fine. I'll just give my kitty a scratch. Yeah. Oh. Yes. Okay. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to do some trees all throughout here to kind of give the background here. So what I want to do is I want to create like try to decide like how big my trees are going to be, like if they're going to be very big, if they're going to take up the whole space, or if I'm going to keep them smaller. So about the height of our mountains back here. Trying to figure out how far out they are into the water. Like if they're playing on the water, if they're close to shore. These are all things we have to like decide in our little world. So I think what I'll do first though, is let me grab this back in my lap, is I'm gonna grab some clean water. I'm gonna go into like a really dark raw umber. And then I'm gonna also add into that raw umber just a hint of my serpentine green. So that there's a little bit, a hint of green, and I'm just going to, actually I should probably flip this upside down to make this a little easier on myself. And I'm going to use, since I'm using this angled brush, I'm just going to use the straight edge that I have available to me anyways. I'm just going to drag it. So it is going to lift up some of the color and mix it, so it's going to create like this unique color. It's going to come across a lot more green than anything else because it is lifting up the purple and the blue, so it's going to make it feel green. But it will also establish where that ground horizon line is. So I'm going to make some green. So all the green in winters is like a very blue-green in color. So I'm going to run into my undersea green and just add my ultramarine turquoise to it. And we're just going to make a deep dark green. The reason why I want to make it really dark is that I plan to add snow later with some gouache. So to make that snow feel light and beautiful, you'll need to have your dark darks to be there too. You just need that You have to have your dark to have your light. So just want to make sure that we just keep it into like a hunter green feel. Just go into that little bit of brown. We'll add a little bit of brown to that to kind of give it a more earthy feel. So it's not going to be, I'm green, hello, I'm saturated, because that's not exactly what we're going for. So I have a brush for my trunks and I have a brush for my branches. So we're just gonna have a bravery test. I'm gonna use the flat edge of my we're just gonna draw a line straight down. And that's a tree. And then I'm just gonna take, hold on to this one because I'm double timing now. We're just gonna take this very edge here, which you can already see is completely saturated with color. And we're just gonna kind of I'm gonna use that shakiness of my hand to my advantage, and we're just gonna make a little tree shape here. We're just gonna do, and there we've got a very uniform tree, so we're gonna need to add a friend to kind of like go ahead and eliminate that uniformity, which is okay. So we're just going to give it a tall friend straight down. Oop, tall friend who's very tall. Use a dry brush and I'm just going to rub that right out. There we go. It's okay if he is a large tall friend because we can make large tall trees. So you'll want to leave some space there that you have like the trunk behind. Although, let me grab my brown. I probably should deepen up this brown just a little bit. That way it feels alive. So you want your trunk, this brush to be wet, but you don't want it to be so wet that it'll just want to bleed. Let's go ahead and see. Ooh, this is really big. It's very close. It's very large. It's very close to the shore. We'll just go ahead and make it a little taller. There we go. So all trees need friends, so we'll go ahead and go back into my dirty water. We're just going to make a little more green. I'm just going to turn this pan so I can actually reach in there. Gotta listen to this happy, very Western saloon feel. So if you want to make a really skinny tree, just no pressure. I was using a lot of pressure before and made a very big fat tree. So if you want a real skinny guy, no pressure. This guy's a little darker, but that's okay. It's going to help these other trees feel. And we can go into our brown. Put a little friend. He's tiny, he's very short, he's very small. And he's gonna help blend the space in between here. Since this green is so much darker than the green behind it, which is perfect. So we can just have this little bit here. And we'll just pull his trunk down. We'll kind of whisper it just a little bit. We're just going to use that brush to kind of lightly smear and make this a little lighter. There we go. So we can always come back to the ground right here and just add a little bit of ground, a little bit of fuzzies, a little bit of trees there too. So. And I just used a dry brush to brush the bottom of that trunk and I made it disappear. It was fine, it was perfect. It'll make a little haziness going on there. So let's do, so I've got some big talls. Let's do a really big, it's very tall. Really, it's a bravery test. That's a crazy test in my opinion. It's brave, gotta make it brave. Putting this tall guy like right here is going to emphasize like the curvature of the neck here, so just do. Take time to like study trees and shapes of trees. They are all different. They're all unique. They all have like different life stories. Like trees and deserts are fascinating to me because they're usually shaped by the wind. So the wind has a lot of like control over their shape. Snow also does the same thing. Let me grab my dry brush, pull this down. I'm gonna grab my brown brush. Make that meet the ground. There we go. Dry brush and just brush it away. There we go. So the weight of snow will pull on trees and make them do weird things and make them shape their branches in different ways. Fruit trees are also good to look at, especially fruit trees that are older. They've had many seasons. We'll do the skinny guy right here. Don't want to ignore all of that light going through. You'll definitely want to leave some of that light behind, so you don't want to make sure that it's like all flat and doesn't have any like character going on there. You definitely want to add, I might add just like a little short guy. He never got really tall. He had all these tall friends. He just came out fun size. So let's put a fun size tree in here. So I want to go make my green. And make variances of your green is just fine. It makes it feel more alive. Even trees of the same species are rarely like the exact same color. They have the same hues, but they're all slightly different. You can tell that easily just by going out. If you live in a neighborhood that uses the same trees, which I definitely do, just the distance of how close you are to it versus how far, the difference of like what the house color is, what plants are around that tree will change the color. So let's put like a little short guy right here, like a tiny itty bitty Christmas tree. It's much darker. He's like much closer to the ground. Can't really see him, but he kind of eliminates. There we go. So then I'll just take a brown. Just drop it in, just a hint of it. Ooh, got itchy right there. I think I got a little kitty hair right there. Skadoosh. Oh, you has a dad strokes. Okay, Reese. What kind of shoes does an artist wear? Skechers. No, but yes, it's very funny. I get it. That is a really good one. Ladybug. No pear trees. Evil trees. There are no pear trees in this particular, not in this world. We are not doing pear trees in our little happy world. These are only pines. So Oh, my happy pine trees. For me, pear trees are evil. Every year it's just a little bit worse, and I'm like, oh, if we don't have like a really good freeze, like a very hard freeze, right after those pear trees bloom, I'm just miserable. Kitty here. Each, must not scratch. Before I completely abandon this and we get it too far down, let's go ahead and just do some little scrubbies. I'm just going to take a little bit of that color. I'm just going to scrub a little. Take my dry brush. I'm just going to take that. I'm going to pull it straight down. Swoosh. That dry brush is going to soften it, and it's pulling that color away. So it makes it feel a little more natural. Take a little bit of that brown color. I'm just going to meet that color again. Take my dry brush. This is a brush that has not met water at all. And we're just going to pull down. So we're using that dry brush to blend these two colors together. So we are essentially softening up that horizon line, making it feel. So dry brush, wet pigment, brush down. And since I'm going to be using the same color with the same dry brush, I'm just setting the dry brush off to the side. I'm just using my, itchy, using But you see how it softly blends because we took that dry brush and then just blend the two colors together. So now it's like this nice soft color. So that's one way you can use dry brush with watercolor techniques. It's the same technique that you would use for acrylic or oil, is just putting down the wet pigment and using a dry brush to blend it across. It softens it up and makes it feel like these are now attached to that island. Once we get some snow and we define some of these limbs through that, it's really going to make it super exciting and make it pop. So then what we're going to do is we're going to make sure this is green, this is brown. We're still double fisting. We're just going to put, let's see, I'm just going to use no pressure, straight down. Right here. Flatten this out a little bit. I'm just going to get a little tree right here. See how I left some of the trunk right there? It makes it feel more believable. It makes this feel like a tree since it has the trunk is there, and because I left it gapped like that, you can still see like this beautiful mountain in the background, but it's just lending to that color, helping push those trees a little bit forward. So we're just trying to give it everything in Earthbound is very uniform, so I can get away with doing this. Feels very uniform. If I was really trying to do like a more naturalistic, impressionistic type forest, I wouldn't have this uniform feel to it. But this kind of lends in between the two worlds of both a uniform because of design limitations. There's only so much they could do within the game limits, towards console limits, I should say. So this kind of helps blend those two worlds together. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of water. It's a little lonely though. We do definitely need to give it a friend. Add some water to this. Put a little bit of green back into here. Grab a little bit of that brown. So if you want fat trunks, put a lot of pressure. If you want real skinny trunks, put very little pressure. So putting these trunks here makes this feel like it's attached. I do have some disconnect right here because of his neck, but I don't really want a whole lot of weird growth going out. I'll probably establish Tessie first, and then I'll like go back in and put some more green right here. So we're just gonna give it a friend. A nice big, maybe this friend is real old, has really squat leaves. See a little bit of life. So we're gonna make him like scrubby right down to the bottom. We're just gonna make him super scrubby. So he has like really big, fat, broad leaves. It's been a giant, didn't grow very tall, but seen a lot. I'm just gonna go in here with my dry brush. I'm just gonna lightly, just lightly tap. And I'm gonna go here with my green. Use these trees to kind of help define where Tessie is. It's between these trees and Tessie. This is how we're making Tessie feel alive. Might go in here. I'm just gonna draw in a little bit of something there. Maybe there's a tree poking out through here. Always want to just give that illusion that there's something there. So we hold on to that illusion. Just gonna put a nice big fat. Ooh, and this is huge tree, giant tree. So big that we can't see the top of it because Tessie's covering up the top. My other bag. Put it on my lap. Trees need friends. It is very true. They need lots and lots of friends. Ooh, we're just gonna make this guy big. It's a really big tree. Okay. And I'll help darken up what's behind here as well. So we'll just use this tree to kind of help define. So now there's like a nice like mixture of trees right here. So we can go back to our checking to make sure I'm checking the color. Like which one is brown, which one is green. Lurking, it's okay to lurk. Lurk away. Why does the chicken coop only have 2 doors? Because if it had 4 doors, it'd be a chicken sedan. I like that one. That one's a good one. I do like that one. Just brush this. Brush the bottom away with our dry brush. Make sure our dry brush is very dry. Set that off to the side. Take our green. Oops, we kind of went right into our UFO. Set this aside really quick. It is okay. I continuously get into my UFO. That's alright. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna take it, we're gonna hit it with some water. I'm just gonna pull away, pull down. Got all these fun colors. Once we define this beautiful UFO's color, it's just gonna make it feel more natural. That's okay. So we just kind of lift it away. We're just adding some shading we don't have to do later. So no worries if we got into the UFO. So we'll have our big tree right there. And I'm gonna put a little tiny guy like right here. Little proud, short guy. Didn't get very tall, didn't get very big. Not really worried about that. Music's very interesting. Sounds like we're going off for an adventure. Shall we add that brown to pull our green down? Oh, he's very dark. But him being super dark like this is helping all of our trees feel more realistic. Short and dark. Just gonna take our dry brush. Just gonna pull that down. This one's brown. I need to label them. This one's brown, right? Okay, so I'm gonna try to establish a good tree like right here. Here, right up to the edge. Cute little UFO. You can do different techniques if you're worried that if you're doing this for yourself, you don't really want to have to worry about putting trees. You can always add, oh gosh, what is it called? I did it for my little diamond shapes. Masking fluid. Masking fluid will cover up places that you want to keep white of the paper, that you don't want to have to worry about accidentally having oopsies like I am right now. I like a challenge though, so I don't mind the oopsies. Trunk.
Rolling around at the speed of sound. Got places to go, gotta follow my rainbow. Can't stick.
Hello, Mac. Oh my goodness. Hello. B average on it, which is really high for a final exam. Congratulations, Mac. Does that mean that you're done? Lady Boa, I'll fix it later. Reese. Welcome back, Meow. Ladybug, I'm sorry that your command is broken, but I will see if I can fix it. It's just something that I can't do while I'm streaming, unfortunately. Sometimes it just has a mind of its own, which is unfortunate, but it happens fairly regularly, doesn't it? I'm glad to see you in chat, Mac. I'm glad that I'm hoping your semester's almost done. Congratulations on your B average. That's great. That's good for them starting the semester off, like actually physically in class with you and then having to finish as a virtual class. So, because I'm sure that was not easy for a lot of your students. Oh, bye, Mac. Have a good rest of your day. Okay. Alright. So we made a happy little forest. And it'll be really exciting. I'll go back in and add some white snow later with some gouache. But for now, we've got a nice little, we have our sky, we have our water. All of it's defined and really pretty. It looks very saturated, making me really happy. So I'm going to rinse off my brushes really quick while I read some closing announcements. Thank you, Mac, for the happy trees. Appreciate it. I hope that if you're already gone, I hope you have a good rest of your day. What are the traffic lights? Oh, there's a dad joke. What did the traffic lights say to the car as it passed? Don't look, I'm changing. That's why you should always signal. Let people know that you're there. Alrighty, well, I want to tell you guys thank you so much for joining me today as I rinse out my brushes really quick. You guys are wonderful and amazing. We worked on 2 things today. We just had a real relaxing morning with some watercolor. We worked on our maple spring, and then we're making some progress with the suggestion. This actually, although Mac has already left, the suggestion for Tessie and the beautiful UFO and the Magic Butterfly, this painting inspired by Earthbound, was a suggestion by Mac. The other suggestion that I have, I think, was by Cable Flame. So these are all paintings because you guys asked for them. So I'm making them because you asked. So if there's something that you would like me to see me paint or try to do, just make sure you save up those catnip toys and turn them in for a suggestion for a future little community date as well. So we painted lots of happy little trees. And then I'll show you what happened to our flowers as we let our flowers dry. This is what happens when you let that wet on wet technique dry. It creates all these beautiful abstract colors. And turned out really, really pretty. I like it. I'll go back in and add a little bit, but between the 2 of these are pretty, they're pretty happy. I like making trees. They're fun. They're fun to do. So we've got those beautiful colors going on there. Let me go ahead and do some little bit of maintenance that I always have to do at the end of the stream. First up, I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Next time I'm going to be streaming is tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be streaming some, it's Friday. I'm just going to do Animal Crossing. I'm not getting around it. For now, just for at least we'll finish out this week. I know that May is here. I think May is tomorrow. Oh my goodness. So if you do have Animal Crossing, be sure to check out all those extra bugs and fish that if you want to catch, if you're keeping up with that. And I will join you guys for tomorrow for Animal Crossing. And we will, so... Thank you, thank you, thank you. I did not see your num-nums. For some reason, they did not show up in my stream, but I will give nummies. Do you guys want me to give nummies before I go? I'll give nummies before I go. I'm used to it. Well, thanks, Lumos. So we're gonna end the stream really quick by giving out some nummies. So let's go ahead and do that. While I do that, if you guys are new here and want to join the Meows, I do have a Discord. You can also follow me on all the social medias under CNorArt, and you can also you can hang out with me on the social medias, and you can find some more of my merch if you're interested in supporting me in that way. I greatly appreciate it. I have a Redbubble store where you can find quite a large selection of different things on like pillows and prints and stuff like that. So, alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to do some nummies before we go. It's a very happy song. The music here is provided by Smooth McGroove and also Insane in the Rain. And there's a very large amount of artists from ocremix.org. So if you're interested in music, please give them some support, give them some love. They share their music because I asked, and they share it freely. So give them some support. Us artists always appreciate the supports, wherever you stream your music from. Come on, Seven. Do you wanna? I'm gonna see if I can get him to sit up again. He's like, okay, I'll give it to Newton. Newton, come here, Newton. Come here, buddy. Come here. This is from Ginger. Meow. Meow is right. Oh, you sat up. Good boy. Good boy. Do you want one? Jealousy is the perfect training tool. Oh, Dad's sitting up. Oh, Stretch. Oh, Stretch. Oh, Dad's a good boy. Yeah, jealousy works great. It's a good motivator. Oh, do you want a second one? Because you worked so hard to sit up? Oh, Dad's a good boy. Where's Ada? Is Ada in here? Well, I'll give you your second treat. I gave them double treats because I missed it for being away for so long. So they got double treats, so they say thank you. Yeah, that was from Ginger. I'm so sorry I missed that nummy earlier. For some reason, my Streamlabs is not updating its little like ticker feed, so. Aw, I know, some meows. Well, my kitties are completely happy and satisfied with the end of this stream. Remember, I think you're amazing, and I really believe in you, and we'll see you tomorrow, Moo Meows. Let's find that end card. Give some love to all my moms for being amazing. And I'll see you guys very soon, Moo Meows.